Did you ever wonder what makes those rollerblades go so fast? Take a close look at the wheels. What are they made of? And the axles. Everything is made of something, and these skates are made of many different somethings, different kinds of materials. Could it be that these materials are what make the skates go fast? The Fecht and Fun crew decided to find out. Your bicycle is a good place to start. For instance, the tires are made of rubber. The frame, the spokes, and the rims are made of metal. There is paint on the frame, and the seat and reflector are made of different plastics. Some are soft and some are hard and shiny. So, we have more than 4 different materials that make up this bicycle: rubber, metal, paint, and several different kinds of plastics. Each of these materials has different properties. The metal rims are hard and rigid, and the rubber is soft and elastic to absorb the bumps and make the ride smoother.
What about this rock?
Let's take a look. It certainly is solid. Stone is a hard, rigid material. Water is different. It's a liquid. It will flow and change its shape to fit any container you put it in. What will happen if we put this stone in water? It sinks to the bottom, of course. The stone is a dense, solid material. It's much more dense than water.
What about wood? It's solid.
Yes, wood is a solid material, but it's not as dense as the stone. Wood and stone are both solids, but they have many different properties.
What about this ball of clay?
It feels and acts pretty solid, but it will become hard as stone if we leave it in the air to dry out. In water, it will become gooey and sticky. If you left it in water long enough, it will separate into fine particles. Everything is made of something. And when we look closely at things, we find that they are often made of different materials. We discovered that different materials have different properties. They may be hard or soft, elastic or rigid, smooth or rough. We also found that materials may be solid or liquid, and that a material may change when put together with other material.
Hey, yeah! What about ice? Is it a solid or is it a liquid?
Well, we know that ice is really frozen water. In this form, it looks solid. But if you left the ice cube on the plate for a few hours in a warm room, it would turn into a liquid So we can see that the same material, or matter, can be changed from a solid to a liquid by warming it. Now, what happens if you leave the water on the plate for several days? Disappears.
But where does it go?
Let's look at it again. This liquid evaporates into the air. It becomes a gas and mixes with the other gases that make up our air. Same thing occurs faster when we heat water in a teapot. The water turns into a gas. It mixes with the air. Ice can be changed to water by adding heat. And water can be changed to steam or gas by adding more heat. Ice, water, and steam. Solid, liquid, and gas. These are the same materials in different forms. The only difference is the amount of heat.
Does heat change other things?
Yes, there are three basic forms in which matter is found: solid, liquid, or gas. Many materials can take all three forms. Even metal becomes liquid when you add enough heat. It would become gas at an even higher temperature. There are other ways materials can change form. Do you remember what happened when we put certain materials together? Let's try an experiment. This is hydrochloric acid. Although it is relatively safe, you should always take proper precautions when using any chemical. And an adult should supervise. A chip of this type of limestone dropped into the hydrochloric acid will soon dissolve and mix, causing a gas to form as the two materials react. This is called a chemical reaction. Here are two harmless white powders from the kitchen: citric acid and baking soda. They are two different materials, which simply mix when we put them together. But add a few drops of water and look out. The powders mix with liquid and then interact. Here you have another chemical reaction. So now we have discovered that matter can be changed from one form to another by adding or subtracting heat. And we've also discovered that certain types of matter react when joined with certain other matter. Now, what do we mean by the word matter? It's a word like material. It's used mostly by scientists, and it describes anything that has mass or takes up space. Matter is anything that has mass or takes up space.
Does that include bicycles?
Does that include animals?
Does that include me?
Let's find out. We can weigh things that have mass. It's not hard for us to prove that some solids have mass and take up space. The apple weighs something. It pushes down on this spring scale. Liquids have weight and take up space too. Air is a gas. We can't see most gases. But are gases also made up of matter? Let's see. This tube seems empty until we try to push its lid on.
Well, I mean, at least there's some resistance in there. Yeah. Pressurized.
You can feel the air inside.
Wow, cool. I like the sound.
And you can feel the air inside a plastic bag. So, air must be matter if it is taking up space inside the tube in the plastic bag. Yes, gas is a form of matter, just like any other material. It has mass or weight, and takes up space. If you could look deep inside a gas, or any other form of matter, you'd see that it's made up of tiny particles called atoms. As a gas, these atoms are moving about very freely, bouncing off one another, and moving about in a given amount of space. In a liquid, the atoms are also moving about, but less freely. The atoms are clinging closer to one another and being squeezed into a smaller amount of space. In a solid, the atoms are closely bound together and locked into a position. They are moving, but not very much. The biggest difference in a solid, liquid, or gas is the amount of movement of the atoms and the space in which they move. Atoms are the basic particles of which all matter is made. There are many different kinds of atoms and different combinations of atoms. This is what accounts for different materials with different properties. Low friction, low drag, good grip, and long life are some of the properties that make these wheels go so fast.
And inside the wheels are bearings and an axle. There's 2 bearings per wheel, and that's basically what makes them turn.
Every bit of matter in the whole world is made of different atoms, or different combinations of atoms, in different arrangements.
Does that include everything?
Yes. Everything is something. And that includes you. You are really made up of atoms, just like everything else in the world around you.